Hey everybody, welcome to Ali's World of Finance. In this quick video, I'm going to be talking to you about one of my best investments, one of my favorite stocks that I'm invested in huge. I'm just throwing money at it and I'm so glad I've been doing it because it's doing really well. And that stock is Snapchat. And so let's talk about how well Snapchat is doing. Damn it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care of whatever. Hey guys, that was an overreaction. So now we're going to talk about Snapchat now that I'm a little bit calm and a little more calmed down. And I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with you guys. I actually only own 5 shares of Snapchat, so I didn't take much of a hit at all. And really, the reason that I only bought 5 shares, and a lot of you may be asking, well, why would you only buy 5 shares considering commission costs? But I was using Robinhood, so I actually didn't have any commission costs. So that's why I bought so little shares of Snapchat. And I think I bought my shares at around 22.4, maybe something like that. So my loss is very insignificant. It almost doesn't even matter. But one of the reasons why I invested so little in Snapchat is because I had a feeling that something like this may happen. And obviously it did. And, I still saw a lot of potential in Snapchat. So I wanted to get in on Snapchat, but I also wanted to be very cautious. And I wanted to wait for something like this to happen to see if I could invest more into Snapchat. I wanted to get a better price. So that's why I held off on it a little bit. But with that, let's go ahead and take a look at Snapchat. Let's see why the stock dropped. And we're going to cover some of the numbers, what some of the analysts are saying. And I don't usually take analysts' opinions into consideration too much, but whenever something like this happens, I definitely like to see what the analysts are saying and see why the stocks are dropping. And then we'll look at some more numbers and just kind of the positives and negatives, and we'll see if maybe we can predict if this is a good time to invest in Snapchat or maybe if we should wait a little more or what we should do. But as always, this is just my opinion. I'm not telling you to buy Snapchat. It's just my opinion. But let's go ahead and get started. Now, when looking at the revenue, they were expected to make $158 million in revenue. Their actual number was $149 million. So they missed expectations. However, year over year, they were up 286%. That's massive, guys. That's such a large percentage. But they didn't meet expectations. And you see this happen all the time where stocks, companies come out with their earnings and they have decent numbers, maybe not spectacular, but not horrible either. And their stock drops because they don't meet expectations. And we saw something very similar with AMD. It's a little different with AMD because AMD, there was a lot of people who were invested in AMD that made a lot of profit and they were ready to get out. They were ready to sell. So it's a little different with AMD. And then I would also say GoPro was very similar, where GoPro had decent numbers and their stock went down a little bit too. But this isn't the whole story. Some of the other stuff that affected the stock was their net loss. And when we look at net loss, we can't really look at the overall total net loss because that would be over $2 billion. But there was $2 billion just in stock compensation, so you can't really look at that number. Instead, you can look at the adjusted EBITDA, which is basically just like a GAAP-less figure for the loss, like a non-GAAP figure, and that was at negative $188 million and a year-over-year increase of 102% negative. So that's really bad, and that hurt the stock as well. And then when we look at some of the other stuff with Snapchat, you can look at the daily average user. In Q1 2016, they were at 122 million users. In Q4 2016, they were at 158 million, so it went up. And then Q1 2017, this last quarter, 166 million daily active users, so it went up again. So it's been increasing. However, expectations were at 168 million. So they they missed expectations by around 2 million. And that hurt the stock as well. So again, we're seeing, decent numbers there, but they don't meet expectations, stock takes a hit. Now, the average revenue per user, Q1 2016 was at 32 cents. Q4 2016 was at $1.05, so it increased. And then in Q1 2017 was at 90 cents. So year over year, it year over year, it increased about 3 times. It went from 32 cents to 90 cents. So that's great. However, it went down quarter over quarter because the previous quarter it was higher. So it went down quarter over quarter, but they were mentioning that that's due to seasonality and things like that. So I can understand that. So take that one how you will. Now with the 52-week numbers, their high was at $29.44. Their low was at $18.90. They have a new low now because of the stock dropping so much. Their new low is $17.59. And currently, last time I checked, they were around $18. I think they were like maybe $18.04, something like that, last time I checked. So this may be a good time to start looking closer at Snapchat, especially because of the price. Now let's look at their positives. Positives, average time spent by user has been increasing, and the minutes per day spent by the user on the platform is at 30 minutes. So really good number there. And then snaps by user has been increasing, and snaps per day is at 3 billion. Snaps per day overall, 3 billion. So really good. And then their hosting costs have been decreasing, which is good. And they're down 12%. And when I was listening to the earnings call, they were mentioning how they made this deal with AWS and Google. And this deal, if I understood it correctly, because I was listening to the earnings call and I was taking notes and I was trying to understand it, but if I understood correctly, what they were saying was that because of this new deal, they can basically increase their growth and their hosting costs will not increase because of this deal. So this should keep hosting costs down and it should help them in the long run, if I understood it correctly. Now, when looking at negatives, their daily average user didn't meet expectations, and their adjusted EBITDA also didn't meet expectations. So, they took a hit on the stock because of these things. Now, there's a few different analysts who have already voiced their opinion. Now, when looking at Pivotal Research, one of their analysts was very bearish on the stock, and they basically said, that there's risks of less growth ahead than previously expected. Okay, so they think that there's not going to be as much growth, and they gave it a sell rating, and they gave it a price target of $9. Come on, guys, like that's not. I think that's pretty. I think that's a little bit insane. I don't think it's going to drop to $9. I would be very shocked if it dropped to $9. If it did drop to $9, I can tell you right now, I'd probably be buying massive amounts of Snapchat, and I'm sure a lot of other people would be too. I don't see that being realistic. However, it's not impossible. It could happen, but I personally don't think that will happen. That's just my opinion. Goldman Sachs is way more bullish than that, and they basically said its audience and engagement represent a unique asset that will benefit from growth and diversification of internet usage and advertiser adoption as both mature. So, and I think that's true. I mean, they have a unique asset, they have a unique group that they can target to, and it's going to keep growing and diversifying as as time goes on, as they mature. So I look at that and I feel like I somewhat agree, at least strongly agree. And their rating, they gave it a rating of buy, and they gave it a price target of $27. So way higher than Pivotal Research, and even much higher than what it is right now. So that's a very high price target. I don't know if that's realistic right now, but that's a very high price target. Now, if you thought that was a high price target, let's look at Credit Suisse. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Credit Suisse. They said, one of their analysts, Snap is a scarce asset that offers advertisers access to a coveted younger demographic. So again, I agree, somewhat similar to what Goldman Sachs is saying. A unique group where, and I was listening to the conference call, and that's what they were saying in the conference call, is that a lot of advertisers can't get to this group, but if they use Snapchat, they can absolutely get to this group, and it's a unique way of getting to them. So they see a lot of growth because of that. Now their rating is a buy rating, and they gave it a price target of $30. So you thought 27 was high, they actually gave it a 30. So really, really bullish from those two. So we'll have to see what happens. Overall, my opinion on Snapchat, I want to buy more shares right now. In my opinion, I'm ready to buy more shares. I would like to buy some in the $17 range, but we'll have to see where they kind of bottom out and where they're going to be hanging out at. The stock could go back up. A lot of people may see this as an opportunity to buy, and the stock could be going up. A lot of people may just get scared and get out. It could drop more. So I'm a little cautious, but I'm ready to start looking deeper into Snapchat and doing more research on it and just getting more involved with the stock and seeing if I should seriously consider throwing a large amount of money at it and investing a lot bigger in Snapchat. So this is just my opinion. This is kind of how I feel about it. What do you guys think about Snapchat? Please leave a comment. And if you're new, please subscribe because I do videos like this all the time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care.